One of the things that I learned, 10 years ago was how to buy paper, how to buy discounted mortgages. I was already doing real estate. I bought like 13, 14 properties of single families, and I went to Temple, and then I started raising capital, which is probably the most powerful thing I ever learned, raising money from people.
Okay.
And taking care of them and making sure they get a return on their investment. But if there's not fair exchange, you have nothing. That's why relationships don't work. That's why partnerships in business don't work. Because they start out being 50-50 partners, and what happens? Well, this partner thinks that he's doing more than this partner, and this partner thinks he's doing more, and this partner might be doing more, right? But if the other partner's not giving fair exchange, that partner's going to get tired of it.
So this is
how many times do you hear an entrepreneur goes, they have a partner, but I'm doing more work?
Yeah.
Right? So there's not fair exchange going on. Why do you think marriages end? Right? Because if my wife did all the work, if she did all the cooking, all the laundry, made the bed every single morning, right? And I just woke up and left for work, you think she's going to stay with me? But when she goes to the gym at 4:30 in the morning and I get up and I start doing my emails or whatever I'm doing, I make sure the bed's made when she gets home. If I know that she, wants to take lunch, I might start chicken for her or salmon for her, right? And then she might do my laundry. She might come home and cook. I might cook the next night. You have to have fair exchange in life.
Okay, was it a mentor or was it a occurrence, like something that happened that gave you that?
I made this shit up. No, I made it up.
What age and where were you? CVS?
Probably learned it, probably in my mid-30s somewhere. When I had partners that didn't work out, right? Because there wasn't fair exchange. But then I took the fair exchange to girlfriends, friends, right? To my wife.
So something occurred.
My partner now, Kerry, right?
Your partner, Kerry, is the partner of Stone Bay?
Of Stone Bay Holdings, yep.
Where did you guys meet?
Kerry and I met, I was at Partners for Payment Relief when I owned that company. She was an entrepreneur flipping houses with her husband. They had their own business, and she was at PNC Bank, an executive there. And she got pregnant. Walked away from a massive promotion, went home and, was the wife and took care of 4 children and growing up. And then she actually came and started working at PPR. And then when I left PPR, the no company that I started with Dave Van Horn and Bob Paulus and John Sweeney, when I left, right, we just kind of had a chemistry. And I think she felt bad that I left and the way I left, kind of. And, I called her a couple months later, we talked, and I said, why don't you come with me? And she goes, you're just not big enough. You're too small, right? So, when she thought, I said, we'll see what happens. So she came, and we started building Temple, and it was amazing. And then we had some problems with people there, and things were a mess, and I was raising capital, and there was disorganization between some of the partners, and we were going under. We were probably 3 days away from completely going under. And I said, Carrie, you need to leave. You need to go. I don't want you to go under with me. And then she just said, I'm not going anywhere.
Wow.
We're gonna get through it. We're going to get through it. She's basically like, suck it up, Cupcake. This is gonna work. It's the only time where I almost lost belief, because if you don't have belief, you don't have anything in life. You've got to believe. You've got to figure out a way to believe in yourself and the people around you. Even though you might not have anything, you've got to believe that you already have it, or it's not going to transpire. It's just not going to happen.
That day when she told that to you, the next day, how did you wake up and get it going?
We came in and we worked from 7 in the morning till 10 o'clock at night. And then we were close to going under, and 3 days before, we had someone come in. One of my current investors came in and bought into the company, and it completely just turned around. And then that was kind of like the end of the Temple thing. And then after I refied all those properties with the bank, we had all this money, right? I just paid everybody back. It was amazing, right? $14, $15 million. And that's when I started Stone Bay. And that was about 6.5 years ago.
So you pay everyone back. You overcome that obstacle where 99.99% of everyone, usually in the world, just quits. Carrie was a big part of that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And now you open up Stone Bay. What year is Stone Bay start?
Well, year 2012, right around there.
2012. At that inception or beginning of Stone Bay, what was the idea originally, and is it on its way to that today, or did it pivot?
No, well, you always add, right?
Yeah.
So we started out with a fund, right, where I only raise money from accredited investors. So I always think big, right? So it's accredited investors, unaccredited investors, but an accredited investor has to have over $1 million worth of assets, or if they're married, they have to make $300,000 a year.
If they're accredited.
That's accredited. Yeah. Unaccredited is when you don't have $1 million worth of assets and you make under $300,000, or if you're single under $200,000, you can't take their money. So, but that stemmed off of PPR, the company that, you know, they just think that I didn't have any value, even though I started it. They really were like, what are you going to do? And, you know, I was a capital raiser, and we didn't really need that much capital then in the beginning. And they were just like, what are you going to do? I said, well, I'll leave. And it was a good thing because, you know, I don't think we had the same business plan or exactly what I wanted to turn that company into. So I don't fight with people when they don't want to be with me. I just say, okay.
Interesting.
I'd rather lose 15, 20 grand than have a conflict. Okay, goodbye. It's okay. Making money's easy. Relationships are the hard part, right? So rather than get into a battle with somebody, I usually just walk away. I'm not going to fight like a knucklehead to try to keep something that you can't have, right? We learn that, right?
Yeah.
You try to keep relationships, whether, you know, if it's a man or a woman or whatever you might be in, we fight for something that shouldn't be.
Wow.
Right?
100%.
Don't fight for something that shouldn't be. I mean, the fighting means, when you're fighting for something, that means it probably shouldn't be. And that's why relationships are so messed up. They last longer than, just walk away. And you don't have to fight with each other to walk away. Just walk away and have enough confidence, enough security in yourself that you can go create something else.
So talk about
now, the great thing is that company, PPR, that kind of let me go, they came back to me 3 months later.
Wow.
And they say, we need capital to buy these large pools, because they were buying $4, $5, $6 million pools of non-performing second mortgages.
Meaning people didn't pay their mortgages?
That's correct. They were in default, but it was a second.
Okay.
All the money's in the seconds.
Wow.
So, that's not what most people think, but all the money's in the seconds because you're getting such a large discount. So on a second mortgage, without going too deep into it, you can buy, you know, a $100,000 mortgage for $10,000. But they're not paying. But if you create them, if you work with them, fair exchange.
Work with the tenant.
Work with the owner of the home. Yep.
So you're helping them keep their home?
Yep.
Well, that sounds damn
So
good.
let me just finish.
Yeah,
let me finish this part. So something that we thought were bad, me leaving there, I was actually able to help them and give them millions of dollars, and they paid me a great return. And then they were able to sell me, when they took them from non-performing to performing, that's how they paid me back. So that situation where I had my best friend who I've known for 30 some years now, where we just didn't see a future together, we didn't burn bridges. It's okay, it doesn't work.
Wow.
You don't have to force things to work. You're not supposed to, but I don't know why we all do it. When we can't have something or we want something, we try to force it, which shouldn't be anyway. Right? So walk away without causing a problem and go continue on. Because I can tell you how many times in my life where I was in a horrible situation, right? A horrible situation with a partner or someone in my life, and I was fighting to keep it, but when I walked away from it, I created something else that was much bigger and better, and it was a learning experience. It was an education on that learning process. So you just don't have to go to school, you're going to life school, right? So, you know, I've been in a couple lawsuits, and people are like, oh my God, you know, my one friend Dave goes, hey, look, you're paying for an education. Don't worry about paying the lawyers. Don't worry about being in the lawsuit. You're paying for an education for it not to happen again and be worse in the long run.
Wow.
So we started Stone Bay, and that was because of the previous company I owned that really didn't want me to be there, that thought I couldn't do anything. So I went and started Stone Bay, and I gave them money, and they gave me notes, and I ended up buying millions of dollars of reperforming notes. And that was the gold. That was the gold, because everybody in the note world were buying non-performers. Everyone's going, Steve Lloyd, why aren't you buying non-performers? Because they're the bigger returns when they're in default.
Understood.
So I'd have a lower return when I took them after they were paying. But I had the gold because everybody was selling their performers. Everybody was selling. They would buy the non-performers.
Makes sense, yeah.
They would get the people up and paying, and then they sold off for the large profit, because you go from a non-performing note that costs 10 cents to a reperforming note that costs 50 cents.
Yeah.
So they were making a big spread there. But after the sale, they didn't have a long-lasting note that was paying for the next 25 years like I do.
So you thought like long-term.
It's all long-term. Short-term, there's nothing in life. What's short-term in life? Nothing. There's nothing short-term. You have to have a vision of what's coming 3 and 4 and 5 and 10 years from now. I'm preparing for retirement now. I'm 50. But I'll tell you what, I'm prepared. I'm getting there. That's another topic where...
Do you believe, or I mean, you're pretty involved in the networking field, like with Greg Reed and all of that types. Mm-hmm. Peter Diamandis is talking about 100 being the next 65. Have you put any thought into that?
Hell no. Look at me. I'm overweight. I'm
My favorite part
I'm a trader. I don't know. Let's not talk about
how. Live 150 years.
We'll go to hell. I don't want to live that. I don't want to. Because it's depression. I have the golden cane, though. Right? But.
Okay, so self-esteem and confidence in the sense of, do you believe that you need that in a degree to be able to walk away from a relationship that is not healthy?
You need to have confidence in yourself and look in the mirror and say, what are you worth? Not only in money, but as a person. You need to look in the mirror. Every time I talk to somebody and they want to get involved with someone because they think they need them, right? I go, wake up in the morning and look in front of that mirror and go, what am I worth? Am I diluting my worth, or am I expanding my wealth? Or worth, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Right? So I always look in the mirror. Now, that's not where I was, 10 years ago and 15 years ago. But we all have self-worth, but we all doubt ourselves. Just believe in yourself. But sometimes you need that accountability partner, because our mind will screw us up. Our gut tells us everything. Follow your gut, not your mind, right? It's just like when I talk to, people and I show, if I'm talking about a deal, so people come to me all the time to want to be mentored and me to help them. And I said, I only have an opinion. Just because I'm successful in Stone Bay doesn't mean I can help you be successful in your business, because I don't know your business. I don't know when you wake up in the morning. I don't know when you go to bed at night. I don't know what you're doing at 6 o'clock. I don't know how much effort you put. All I can do is guide you with an opinion, and then you have to make the decisions. 2 years ago, we did the biggest deal we have ever done in my life.
Okay.
2 partners got together and we bought an apartment building down in Georgia for $27.5 million. I went to an extremely wealthy person, worth over $100 million. And I said, what do you think about doing this deal? And he goes, don't buy this deal. The cap rate's not good enough. I was like, oh man, but I really had confidence in the 2 guys that I was buying the deal with. So I went with my gut, because I had the confidence of the 2 guys that they knew what they're doing. But I didn't listen to the guy that was worth over 100. I was the guy that was worth over $100 million. He's telling me not to do the deal.
Wow. So someone that you...
I should have believed in him. Most people will listen to that guy and don't believe in yourself and go do it, because he's created a massive company, many of them. So for me, it was easy. We get messed up in our mind by listening to someone that we think are at such a higher level and so wealthy. No, end of the day, you got to believe in yourself. So we went and did the deal. Yeah. In 1 year, we sold the deal for $40.8 million. Right?
Wow.
So what I'm saying, believe in yourself and the confidence in yourself. Take opinions and advice from people, but at the end of the day, you have to realize whether you can make it happen or not, if you're going to perform. And I think people get held back because they listen to higher level people. It's just those higher level people aren't wrong. They just don't know your business.
No one can read any minds or tell the future.
I mean, he knows that $100 millionaire, he knew his business, but he didn't know real estate that well. He didn't understand how it works. So, but in general, be careful. Take opinions, but then take information.
What information about that deal in the sense of real estate gave you the confidence that you could make it work?
I was going into the deal with great people. That's where it starts. Anybody that is involved with me or Stone Bay or in my companies or in my personal life, they have to be great. I have to totally believe in my mind and my gut that I'm dealing with amazing people when I'm involved with them. Because a lot of people, right, they get involved with people where they go, and I've made this mistake, oh, this guy's a little questionable, but I know I can make money with him. I know I can make money with him. And that's when you're chasing the money than rather dealing with that amazing, great person, right? So I made a big, huge mistake in my life at one point where the guy wasn't perfect. I thought it would be okay with me. I thought we were like brothers, you know. I thought it would be okay. But I knew he could make me money. And it ended up costing me $1 million.
So you're just weighing that out. And now you say, hey, person is the most important thing. So can you please define, at least your opinion of it, what you believe is you're looking for in the sense of a great person? What are some of those characteristics?
Giving, kind, caring, ethical, cares about other people, wants me to succeed more than them, right? Because when times get tough, that's when things break up. You got to make sure that you're involved with someone that's going to be in the fight with you. That we're going to pay up just as much as you are. They're not going to walk away from you. And that's hard. So when we were talking earlier about Stone Bay is made up of strategic partners.
Yeah.
Right? So people come to me. So Stone Bay is made up of 3 things. I call them 3 pillars. We buy charged off second mortgages, reperforming notes. I lend private capital, right? And I do apartment buildings, but only with 2 men. That's it. And I only lend money to 5 different people. And I only do notes with 3 different people. So I'm a capital raiser. I have the capital. I have the investors that believe with me. And then I have these 10 people that go out and find assets, right? And then I help them take them to another level by giving them more money. And they take me to another level because they have the assets and better assets that rises me to the occasion, right? And we all lift each other up.
Wow.
So whenever someone comes to me and they want to do business with me, Steve, you want to do an apartment building together? I probably wouldn't do it with anyone else except these 2 guys. But if someone wants to come and buy notes with me, or someone wants to partner with me, or someone wants me to lend them money, I will listen to them, and then I will say no. Nope. I only deal with 10 people, right? I feel if you get into dealing with 20 and 30 people, you're going to get diluted, and percentages are more deals are going to go bad. Yeah. So if I can keep my network really tight, I think that's what's created our success at Stone Bay, right?
And it's been a massive success with 6 years.
Well, the name Stone Bay, the company Stone Bay started, 6 years ago, but the success.
You've been involved in the real estate business for
13 years now.
13 years.
Yeah.
And it seems like you're the type of guy that once you get involved in something, you're involved.
There's nothing else.
What is your day?
People entrepreneurs tell me, oh, I got freedom. I can sleep until, 9 o'clock in the morning, and I don't have to go to work. I'm like, bullshit. That's not success. You have to love it. You have to breathe it. When I wake up in the morning, my wife is next to me. I love her, but when I wake up in the morning, my eyes go boom. It's just crazy. I'm thinking, what is this day upon me going to bring? What deals are we going to do? What problems will we have to take care of? I love it more than anything. It's not about the money. The money will always come. It's, can I do it? Can I create this? Can I create a $250 million company? Right?
Wow.
Right now we're at $200 million worth of assets. So Carrie and I,
a lot of people that you've helped.
So Carrie, we've helped each other. It's a team. It's a culture. Culture matters, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, no, it does.
We've created a culture between these men and women that we all want to be successful, right? You ever hear that? Be careful of your closest people around you.
Yeah.
Not me. If I don't feel that feeling, you're not going to be around me. Everybody I'm involved in, I know they want me to succeed, and I want them to succeed. Because at the end of the day, what are we trying to do? What are you trying to do? What's your cameraman trying to do? Trying to have a successful life for you and your family and your kids. Yeah. We're all trying to do the same thing. And if we get this wave of helping each other, we can't be stopped.
Very powerful thought process that I know a lot of people might be watching thinking, what? Because unfortunately it might not be common sense. To me, I've decided to think that way, and I know you do, obviously. When was that? When was it? When did it hit you to think like that, or was it something that you're in your adolescence and you're just thinking, I want to do for others as they would do unto me. Like that's the golden rule type of thing. Like it's not a cliche, but it seems like it's
I think it started with my family, right? So my dad left when I was 3 years old. My aunt and uncle, who were like my mother and father. My mom was still totally in my life. We were best friends until the day she died. She actually lived with me, and we lived together for the last 6 years. But it was really, me getting out of a bad area because my dad left and never looked back. But, people they make excuses, and I would always think, why did that guy leave? But you know what? When I reached like 45, I was like, the greatest gift he gave me was leaving, because those two didn't get along. My dad and my mom didn't get along, right? I guess they couldn't stand each other. I don't know. They might have been in love for a while. But if he would have stayed, I wouldn't be where I am today. So now it's like I'm thankful that he left and never looked back and wasn't in my life. I might have been that kid sitting at the window waiting for Dad to pick me up at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, right? So I didn't have to worry about that. So I had two amazing people in my life, my aunt and uncle, that took me in because I had 4 other siblings, 3 sisters and a brother, and my mom had to take care of them. Yeah. She couldn't take care of me, but she'd pick me up on Friday at my aunt's and then drop me off at Monday. So I had these 2 amazing people, my Aunt Kay and my Uncle Chick, and they had 3 daughters that are like my sisters now, right?
Wow.
So, between my being raised by my aunt and uncle
that were older than you?
Oh, yeah, a lot older. I was a big mistake. My cousins are in their 60s, right? Wow. So I'm 50. So they brought me in, treated me like their brother. My uncle treated me like I was his real son. It never even came up. You're my son. You're my dad. You're my uncle.
So you spent a lot of time with your aunt, uncle, and your cousin. Then you spent time with your mom and your 3 sisters, correct?
And my brother, yeah. It's
almost surreal, the amount of alignment. We have actually, you may not know this, I was adopted by a woman in her 50s, and I had 4, she had a sister and then 3 uncles or 3 brothers, and I'd spent so much time. And then there was 5 big groups of the different family, and I'd spent so much time with the different families. Yeah. It was almost like I was always in different ecosystems or cultures.
It's weird.
And you just observe things.
I went with it.
You went with the flow.
I went with the flow. I mean, I had an Aunt Alice that was amazing, right? A big influence in my life. She was kind, caring, successful. When my family was struggling, it was, it was Thanksgiving. It was Christmas at her house. It was Easter at her house. She kept the core of the family together. My Aunt Marion, kind, caring person. I had all these kind, caring people around me. So when you go back 30, 40 years, or when you go back that time, they didn't have, it was a simple life. My life is simple. Yeah, I think we're successful, for where we are and what level of company we are. But it's really the roots that I came through of my find that wanting people to succeed and be happy within themselves. That's where I think the core comes from. My mom working 18 hours a day, 7 days a week. My aunt. Everyone had their role. My aunt being a stay-at-home mom, helping me with breakfast, lunch, and dinner, the 3 meals that we had, right? And then my Aunt Alice always being there for support and being successful and not being that hooty-tooty aunt, right? Just a normal, good, caring person. My Aunt Marion just being amazing, supportive, and, kind of quiet, but still amazing, right? So that's kind of the core of who I am, and you just can't take that out of me. Now, where I get the crazy instinct to succeed and get out of my way, we're going to make this happen no matter what. I haven't figured that out yet.
When you were in, let's say, you're in middle school, did you see yourself as an entrepreneur or owning a business? Because I know.
I was already. Cool. What are you talking about? I was an entrepreneur at 9. I had a paper route of 145 papers.
Okay, so how did that start? It's the first day on the paper route.
How if I know? I was 9 years old. We were, right?
9 years old. I don't even think I was thinking about it.
Well, I always hung out with older people. So there was a guy named Gary Zhang that had the paper route. He lived in back of me. He was 4 years older than me, so I was 9. He was probably 13. And you know what? I'm getting a flashback. It started by me helping him on the route. Huh. And then as he got older, he let the route go, and then I was probably helping him at like 8.
So he was like a mentor in a way.
No, I don't remember him being he was a mentor then, but my life is really hanging out with older people. One of my core best friends in my life is 60 years old. He would set me straight. Every time I'd start talking crazy, he'd be like, shut up, be quiet, right? Slap me on the hand. I remember one day, and I never because my life was owning the pizza shop and going there from 4 to 11 o'clock, and then I was a union truck driver from midnight till 7 o'clock in the morning. So like an Inquirer driver. I was at the Delaware County Daily Times.
Okay.
So it was part of me not being educated enough, book smart.
Yeah.
I knew I had to work and hustle, right? And
When did you sleep?
I slept from 7:30 in the morning till about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And then I would go to the pizza shop. I'd open the pizza shop at 4. I'd work till 11. And then I had to be at the union truck driving job at midnight.
What age are you?
23.
23, so this is after school.
Well, I failed out of school.
What grade?
Fucking probably first, but I got to 12th, and then I got through that, and I had everyone doing my homework. And then I went to Temple, and I failed out the first year. I got my degree. I'm not that stupid.
You did. No,
I graduated high school.
I felt sentimental, like we could get our GEDs together. I never got it.
Well,
you know that, right?
We already. No, I didn't know that.
I never got it.
No.
You're good, dude.
Yeah, I don't even know the words half the freaking words you say to me, but I'll figure them out later. I got my dictionary under my desk.
Thesaurus over there. So okay, so you're 23. You're working your tail off. Do you believe that?
I had fear. I had fear of not being as successful as my high school friends.
Okay.
That's what it was. I had to keep up with them. They were going to go to college, they were going to get degrees, and they were going to get the good job, right?
Okay.
Right? What was I going to do? I didn't have the education. You weren't going to get hired as an engineer if you didn't have the degree. So I had to work. And I had to save. By hanging out with other people, when I started the Daily Times, I instantly did the 401k. Take $18,000 out of my pay, $15,000, 10% of my pay, or we made a lot of money back then. So I saved. I saved.
And then you're about your late 20s. Where are you?
I got the pizza shop, and I'm doing the Daily Times.
So that started around the early 20s and went to the late 20s? When did you sell
it actually went until 2004. So that was like 35, 36. In 2004, Dave Van Horn took me to a real estate meeting down in Delaware. And I said, man, these guys were selling the dream. We're real estate guys. We got a private jet. We're leasing this together. I'm like, I got to get this shit in my life, right? Like, this is awesome. Right? And then met this guy. We went into the mortgage business, but we only did mortgages for people that bought real estate, investors.
Okay.
Right? So I wouldn't do your owner-occupied house. So that was another...
So you started building a network with, like, business-minded people. Mortgages.
Real estate, business-minded people, and we were doing mortgages for them.
When did it hit you that you should be on the other side of that?
In the process, I went and bought one property along, and then I bought 2, then I bought 3, and then it's crazy.
You had about 13 singles.
12 years ago, I had about I built it up to like 12 or 13.
Okay.
Right, but 13 years ago, what happened? The greatest thing for me, not for most people, and it's sad. We had one of the drops in our economy in our lifetime, right? We went into a massive recession, a banking recession, and I was like, how am I going to, somebody said, let's go to Temple, and I looked at Temple, and I took a 3-bedroom, I took the living room, I made it a bedroom, right? Bought it for like 80 grand, put 30 into it, went to the basement, dug out 2 feet, right? And that was their social room, put concrete down, that was their social room, and I rent it by the room.
Whoa.
$500 a bedroom on a $120,000 property. It was cash flowing. I would say this is around, what are we in, 2018, so around 2008. Now you got to remember, now how was I going to buy my properties? The banks weren't lending money. So somebody gave me an idea of going to individuals to be my bank.
Okay.
So instead of going to a bank and getting a rehab loan, I learned self-directed IRAs.
How's that work?
So next topic.
Yeah, okay.
So,
got me going.
So what I did was when I went and bought that rehab or that purchase of that $80,000 property and I had to put 20 or 30 into it, then I would go to went to my best friend first, and then that led to another guy and another person I treat them just like the bank. Being the bank is amazing. It's amazing. Paper is amazing. Okay? Most people don't understand how money works, how paper works, how a spread on someone else's money works. It's so powerful. So I was like, man, if I could take someone's $100,000 and do it the same way PNC Bank would secure them, so I'd have Harry come in, I give them a note, I give them a mortgage, and the mortgage would be recorded at the courthouse as a lien. I give them personal guarantees. I give them a 10% return paid monthly. right? Because you got to remember, 10% return, it sounds high, but it's only for 6 to 9 months.
Okay.
And then what I did was, after I did that one at Temple, then I started building duplexes, triplexes, and quadruplexes. And I created individual people to be my PNC and Citibank. But I didn't do the paperwork any different. It's not like someone just gave me money.
You took it
right?
very serious.
Oh, extremely serious, because I knew this was a ticket. I knew it was my ticket to get funding. So when I had the secured lien and they were safe and I made that payment to them, right? Once I got the property filled with students and I got the guarantees from the parents on the leases, then I went to Conestoga Bank, which is now Beneficial and just got bought out. So then I went to Conestoga and said, hey, I got a cash flowing property here. I got tenants, I got parents that co-signed, give me a loan. But what I had to realize, and here's what was really kind of brilliant, and sorry for using the word brilliant, but this was pretty brilliant. You had to know going into the property, the after repair value. So I knew at Temple, if I only went into that property, purchase and rehab for $338,000,
yeah.
I knew that when that property was done, it was worth $450,000. I knew the after repair value was $450,000. So I'd be I knew I couldn't go over $340,000. If I didn't go over $340,000, I'd go into that deal with no money out of my pocket. I'm like the infomercial at 2 o'clock in the morning, right? So I knew at the end of the day, when I had my tenants in there and my investors didn't go over $338,000, when the property was appraised at $450,000, I went to Conestoga and I refied, right? And they would give me 75% loan to value. So if you do the math,
like
if my property was worth $450,000, that's what a duplex would. 8 students in there getting, say, 500 or 600. I knew it would appraise for $450,000. So if the bank's going to give me 75% loan to value, it's $338,500. So I would pay my investors off with the refi.
Got it.
$450,000 property with no money out of my pocket. Did you understand that?
100%.
I hope you did, because it's powerful.
You saw a problem. You were able to solve it with putting the people that you needed on the table, so that their problem was solved, which was their money needed to make money for them.
Yep.
That money solved the problem of people needing a place to live, which you made sure that the contractors and all the other people that were involved did it in a fashion that they got paid what they needed to win. It wasn't overspent, so that way you were able to then go to the bank, get the money necessary to pay everybody back properly, and you own a property outright that cash flows.
With no money out of my pocket.
With no money.
The key was knowing what your after repair value in and not going over 75% loan to value.
What's interesting is that the power that comes from that is the ability to think through all of those scenarios and put all the people, the processes together to create a product where someone has a home, someone's money is making money for them, the bank's money is making money for them, and the reason that you win, and you win so good, is because that sounds like a damn hard thing to do.
Well, once we did it once, the thought was just creating people to be my bank.
Doing it consistently.
Everything, I think, wealth is created through duplication. Look at Wawa. Look at McDonald's. You can go into Wawa today, right?
Yeah.
That's why, entrepreneurs that come to me, I tell them to pretend that they're a horse in Cape May. You ever go to Cape May?
I have.
Right, go to Cape May and there's horses on carriages and they got blinders on.
Okay.
That's the problem with an entrepreneur. Right? They think just because they're an entrepreneur, they can do 10 different streams of income. They can get paid here and here, and they can have 5 different companies. No, concentrate on the one company that you believe in.
Interesting.
Drives me nuts. Put the blinders on and focus what you can create success in, what you believe in.
Okay, so how do you feel about a lot of that multiple streams of income conversation? Is it a timing thing? Is it you do that in the future, focus first? Like, where's your thought process there?
I think we're successful because we concentrate on Stone Bay. I concentrate on buying notes. I lend money, and I buy apartment buildings over $10 million.
So 3 things.
And everyone comes to me and tells me, why don't you be the guru? We were talking about this earlier. Why don't you go and teach? I teach for free. Because when you go and create a company that if I can teach people how to raise money, I can teach people how to do real estate, I can teach people how to build a company, right? I can teach them all the things, and it's not worth the money. It might be worth the money, but I can't give the time. Because if I go over here and create a whole nother company, it is a whole nother company. It is, right? Well, I got a lot of investors. I don't think it's fair to them, right? So I got to concentrate on creating duplication of what I do with Stone Bay and not get distracted and focus on just doing what I do well.
Who taught you about focus? Or was it something over time?
You know, I think years ago I did network marketing, and it was a time and a place for it, and I met the best people in my life. I'm friends with so many people, but I noticed I was being distracted by network marketing and not focusing on my real estate portfolio. And it was a drag. But I raised millions of dollars through my network marketing. I love network marketing, but some people frown about it, but they just don't understand it.
So there was a time in your life where you were inspired by that.
I loved it, and I had to walk away from it, and I miss all the trips. They were just down on vacation, the top money earners. I was a top 30 money earner for Stream Energy, and I loved the people. I missed them. I missed the trips, but I had to get back to what I do really, really well. I mean, look, I went from in a year and a year, I went to being a top 30 money earner, right? 6,000 energy accounts I'm getting paid on. So, but I had to get back to focusing on what my core was. And I think that's what a lot of entrepreneurs make a mistake. They flip-flop all over the place rather than staying confident in what they do. And you know, the other thing is, this is hard, man. This is super hard being an entrepreneur. It takes 5 to 7 years to be successful. Don't tell me that you flip 4 or 5 properties or you own 10 properties in 2 years and you're successful at it. No, you're just about ready to get your ass kicked.
Okay, right? What do you mean?
Well, because people grow too fast. The entrepreneur wants to get, you know, if it's from point A to B, they want to go to point S or T, right? They want to grow too fast. I've done it. I mean, when I almost went under, it was because I was building 18 duplexes at Temple. I got diluted. Too much money flying around. Too many construction guys I had to deal with. Too many inspectors I had to deal with, right? So when we talk about,
clouded, like,
right, it was clouded. I couldn't create fast, organized duplication. If you look at Wawa, they're one of the greatest companies in our country.
Got a book on Wawa culture.
Right, they're not Facebook, but they're huge, right? I would love to read that book. But you can go into a Wawa why are they different than 7-Eleven?
The Wawa way.
Right? If you go to Wawa in Westchester, you can stand in the middle of that Wawa, and you can go to the Wawa that's in Wildwood, New Jersey, stand in the middle of that Wawa, and you don't know where the hell you are. You're in a Wawa. Create duplication in your life. Get paid over and over and over again. Another topic. But I get paid over and over and over and over again for something that I did 5 years ago. I bought a note 5 years ago. I'm going to get paid for the next 20 years on that note. Okay, when I worked for network marketing, literally I was in Western Pennsylvania and created 500 energy accounts. 6 years later, I'm still getting paid on those energy accounts for something I did 5 years ago. Picture yourself as an insurance agent. Yeah. If I was ever to come back again at 20 years old, I'd be an insurance agent. Why? Because when I sell you an insurance policy, as long as you stay with me, I'm getting 10% of that policy forever. Go to a golf course, a bunch of 75-year-old guys that are all insurance agents getting paid on something that they did 15 years ago. Yeah. That's why the sales of one-time sale doesn't work, because you've got to go chase another sale.
So talk about that, be able to...
Like, and then another thing, an entrepreneur, I'm all pumped up now. Now you got me going, right? And here's another problem that entrepreneur salesmen make. They don't concentrate on their core customers that they already have. They already have it. They already have the loyalty. Those people know who they are. They're always chasing after the Red Sea.
Interesting.
They're chasing after the Red Sea, the new customer. Where if they just concentrate on their current customers, they would bring them more customers. You know what's funny? I raise all this capital, and it's all from the base of my core 200-300 investors, right? I don't even look for new investors because they're too much work. They don't know me. I got to go through this long path with a new guy. Are you Bernie Madoff? Are you going to pay me? I got to go through all, which is justified, right? It's justified, but they don't know who I am. But I got 300 people that know who I am. I got to make sure that I make them happy and go back to them for referrals.
What are some of the ways that you stay in touch and create that culture of caring and staying stabilized with the people that you've served? It is something that people don't do.
It is so funny. What's coming up is our holiday party. And
when is that?
It's I'm not going to say the date, but you'll see it. It's at the end of the month. It's one of the proudest moments every year for that party. When we started Stone Bay 6 years ago, it started at my house, and we probably had about 35 people there. Then we had it there again the next year. Then we came here and we had about 80 people here. And to see all these people that believe in me and Carrie and Stone Bay and our employees, to take $10,000 from them, for them to give us $50,000, for them to give us $100, $200. I have some people that give us $500, $800. It's amazing honor to have that, right? So one of the proudest things I have in my life is having this holiday party, and this year there'll be probably about 225 people. And they're like my friends. So you're usually not going to see me in a suit and tie. And, we just got to this office 2 years ago. We ran like a $50, $60 million company out of my basement. I used to bring investors, and we used to sit on my couch and talk about how the company's run, and I'd show them financials and bank accounts and everything. Transparency is what everyone needs in life, right? So we'll go back to transparency. Don't forget transparency, all right? So, this party means so much to me. It's everything to me, this once a year where we get together and we get to celebrate not only the holidays, but we get to celebrate friendships and relationships and us helping each other. And if you came, you'd see people we're hugging each other, we're high-fiving each other. They're not investors, and I'm not the guy running the company. We're all just a big group of friends getting to know each other better. And most people don't do it, right? Most companies don't bring their investors or their current clients together. If we're talking about investing, people don't do what I do because they're insecure. Most companies that raise capital, mutual fund companies, they won't bring all their customers together in the one place because I believe that they're scared that all those customers will talk about other investments.
Interesting.
I bring them all together. They're all accredited investors, 200 of them. I want them to each talk about other investments and take their places other areas, right? They shouldn't have all their money with me. Look, if Harry is investing with me and Joe at the holiday party tells him about another investment, you think Harry and Joe's going to like me? Yeah, well, I met that guy at our holiday party through Stone Bay, and I took $100,000 over here, and I doubled my money in 5 years. Who looks like the great guy? Maybe I do have an ego. I don't know.
Why aren't you?
But I'm not insecure with it.
Why aren't you afraid?
Because there's always another person. There's always another investor. There's always another deal. Leaders create leaders. One thing is I want people to succeed. It's not all about me. Come on, we all have an ego, right? But it can't be all about me. It has to be about them. It's the mistakes that we make in life with relationships and partnerships and investors and the people that we deal with. Make it about them and see your life prosper.
Wow.
My life is helping other people. When we got to $80 million worth of real estate, the only reason I knew I had $80 million worth of real estate, because we did our first apartment building where I was going to be a sponsor. And they needed my net worth. So Carrie and I started adding up all the notes that we didn't even know. It sounds crazy. It sounds like not logical. But I'm going there, Carrie, oh my gosh, we own $80 million worth of assets. I can't believe this is here. So that's why I don't always go, I want to have 500 or $500 million worth of assets. It's kind of like, let's do the next deal. What's the next deal? 10 million, 5 million? Yesterday we just closed a mobile home park for $9 million. I never dreamed of putting a $37 million apartment building under contract.
Let's go back to that deal. Like in the idea of a deal. You said earlier, a deal is there's a problem, I'm solving it.
No, not necessarily. Not necessarily. I don't know if there's a problem.
Explain that idea ethos.
Of what?
Because you're not chasing a billion is what I see. I see someone.
No, I'm chasing the next deal. I'm chasing. Can I do it? Can I go from? Somebody came to me a couple weeks ago, and they go, "We're buying $100,000 properties, right?" And they go, "We want to do bigger deals. Keep it simple, right?" I swear to God, I'm a simple guy. I think I am anyway. I said to that person, "You have how many deals? 5. They're all worth $100,000? Yeah. We want to do bigger deals." I said, "Okay, what price range?" $400,000. I said, "Stop looking for $100,000 deals. Go into your MLS search and don't look for anything else under $400,000. It's got to be 400,000 or up, or you don't buy it. That's it. Don't look for $100,000 deals. I can't believe and today that we did the mobile home park was $9 million, but you got to remember a mobile home park when rents are around $400 to $450 for the lot, right? A $9 million mobile home deal is huge. So to compare it to a normal apartment building where the rents are $1,200 and $1,400, it's like doing a $50 million deal. Right?
A lot of mobile homes.
Yeah, there's 300 or 400 of them. There's 300 of them, right? Does that make sense?
100%, yeah.
Right? So, but, me and my partner, our first deal was $8 million apartment building deal down in Melbourne, Florida. Now, today, I go, let's not look at any deals that are under $15 million. We don't look for deals under $15 million.
So
we probably won't do I changed my focus. How do you grow? I'd be still doing $100,000 deals, right? So my focus now is I hope, after we close this next one, right, I'm going to say to Chip or Brian, let's not look for deals under $20 million. Oh, this is a number.
Okay,
it's almost the same process,
so
right?
With Dean, you're just us. There's a gentleman named Dan Locke. You ever heard of him?
Nope.
He's just this trainer, and he had a mentor, and he was doing email marketing, writing copy, meaning like he writes the paragraph that's going to go on the page that people then click through to buy it. And his first deal was like $1,000. A customer paid him $1,000, and then he went to his mentor, and the mentor said, "Now charge $2,"
and he's scared. But he does eventually.
And he did it, and then now
no one's ever going to pay me $2,000.
Yes.
What am I worth? What are you worth? $1,000 or $2,000? Figure it out. Right?
Was that from you looking in the mirror and actually saying that physically?
It's from getting my butt kicked from people that weren't sure what my worth was.
They
and
weren't
me
sure
taking advantage of me.
And then you said,
right?
Enough is enough.
Enough is enough.
Okay, in the process of
you can make another dollar, but you can never get another minute out of life. You can always make another dollar, but you will never get another minute out of life. Can't buy minutes.
How do you have the composure or the courage to say no to the people that were interested in working with you after you decided not to work with that anymore? Like, let's say your focus is $15 million now. You're going to have to say no to $6 million maybe. We don't even look at it. So, but where does that come from? That courage to say no? Like, maybe you're under, someone's under pressure, right? Like, oh, well, this guy wants to work with me, but I got to say no because I made that focus. Is that easy for you? Or
it's really easy. I just, in my mindset, I don't do 10
What's your advice to someone that might not be easy for if you were to give them a needle?
Well, they have to get there, right? They have to, but you have to remember, we have enough real estate and income and profits to do nothing for the next 15 years. We have $200 million worth of real estate assets, notes, private lending. I don't have to do another deal the rest of my life.
So has it become easier?
I mean, that made it easier.
In the beginning, to get there,
in the beginning,
you probably still had to say no to things to get to that point, right?
Not many.
Like that tipping point.
Not many. We were, give me a deal, right? My investors were crazy investing with me 12 years ago. I didn't know what the hell I was doing, but I know how to pay them, and I've come out of my pocket in the beginning many times to make sure they got paid.
Okay, so talk about that. You're learning through experience.
So if an investor, look, investors are my marketing arm, right? They are who I am. They're my company. They're my marketing arm. I don't need to send out flyers or do a news ad. My investors are my marketing arm. So when an investor comes to me and I tell them, doing what you tell them you're going to do and making sure you do it. Do what you say you're going to do. That is like one of my core values. I deal with so many people that I meet with, I'm going to do this, and they don't finish off by doing what they say they're going to do, right? But when you come to the investor, right, I go, you're going to give me $100,000, I'm going to pay you a rate of return, and then I'm going to pay you every month on time on the first. You cannot not pay on the first. I have guys that I have lent money, that I've taught, that I've lent money to, and they pay me on the 5th, and they pay me on the 10th. No, you're supposed to pay me on the 1st. So I'll give you a story. It was about this guy, Jim, this was going back probably 7 years ago. And we made a mistake in the office. And I don't know why I got kicked out of the ACH system, and he didn't get paid till like the 6th. And he called me. It was a Saturday morning. Go, Steve, I didn't get my interest on the 1st. I said, oh my gosh, dude, I'm like, I went to high school with this guy. I go, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. What the heck is going on? I'm like, all right, I know I wasn't going to be able to get a hold of anybody on a Saturday. So I said, look, meet me. I forget, he was with Susquehanna Bank. Wow. And we met. It was over in Newtown Square. I said, meet me at that bank, like within a half an hour. So we went to the bank, we met. I went in there, and I got him his interest payment, and I gave him the receipt. And he's called me while we're on our way, and he's going, Steve, it can wait till Monday. And I'm like, no way. I'm late. No, I told you I was going to pay you on the 1st. 2 more days, it's going to be even worse. I got to pay you today. Even though he was telling me I didn't have to. No, it was my responsibility. I made a mistake. I was past the 1st because an investor comes to me, right? They come to me. You come to me. You give me $100,000, right? And I tell you I'm going to pay you every month for the next 12 months. And on the 6th month, I pay you late. And then someone asks you, Joe goes, should I invest with Steve Lloyd? Oh, yeah, he's awesome, man. He was only late one time. It doesn't work. The guy's not going to invest with me. Do what you say you're going to do. And if you don't do it, man up and make sure you get it done.
Interesting. So someone asked me why I don't drink. My answer is always, and I can only speak for me, I made a decision to make my profession someone that can be potentially a mentor, whether I'm speaking or not, but maybe asking questions, listening. My integrity and how I live my life has to be at a standard that someone that would potentially invest their time, their energy consciousness, their thoughts, their personal stories of me that would stays between us, in me. I'll never touch a drink for that reason. This is not about it, anyone
well, it's personal.
Because the role, this is a personal perspective, but I just have to share this because it aligns with what you're talking about in our field, coaching, culture, coaching. As that role, I believe, as that metaphorical mentor role, that would affect my integrity to act in a level that isn't always 100,000% of the time on it. And so I made a commitment to do that. Now, is that right? Is that wrong? No, it's all subjective. However, you saying what you just said, I'm extremely at a loss for words, I guess you could say. But you just, I get it.
It's simple.
And it is, but it isn't, though. It isn't the common denominator of shoot, man, that's why we started Culture Matters, is to inspire people to start thinking maybe above themselves so they can act better.
You got to carry yourself well. You have to have ethics. You have to do what you say you're going to do. These rules are simple. We just don't follow them. We don't think about them. Because most of the people think about themselves before they think about other people. You know what? Really, I really don't want to get into talking about politics too much, but it is really bugging me right now. With this country that we have, I see so many of my good friends. I don't even know why I'm talking about this, but I have so many of my good friends having conflict between being a Democrat and then believing in what they believe in, and then Democrats believing in what they believe in. And I'm seeing all these good people tear each other apart that are friends 100%. And know each other. And why are they being torn apart? From this bullshit that they're seeing at the top, the leaders, right? The political leaders at the top not doing what they're saying they're going to do, and creating this media of just bringing out the worst thing of something that happened last night, because there's one thing that happened last night, but there was 20 good things that happened last night too. And they're not reporting the 20 good things. They're only reporting the bad thing that either our president today did, or our previous president, or the other lady that was running for president. They're all bashing each other. And we're getting led, good Americans are being torn apart by these crazy people at the top of this political parties that we have. It's sad to watch it.
Do you believe it's something on the sense of both sides? They're just completely, their conflict in a sense of argument is now trickling to the people that you see every single day that they're
you can't even bring it up. I was sitting at a bar a couple of weeks watching an Eagles game, and I'm pretty much a Republican. I'm not going to say it, and he was talking Democratic stuff, and I didn't agree with him, and it got heated. And I believe the only reason it got heated is because the leaders up top
I hear you. Makes
of
sense.
creating this dysfunctional accusing of each other and calling each other names. And, look, I don't know if you want to put this on or not, but they talk about, the Democrats will kill Trump for these sexist remarks and cheating when Bill Clinton got a blowjob in the White House and he was cheating on his wife. So we're a bunch of freaking hypocrites, right? They're talking about Trump, but one of the greatest leaders of the Democratic Party did something really bad. But they'll point this out, but they won't bring this up. It's horrible.
Now, I don't think anyone in the world can disagree with the objective facts there. What do you think is it's just your personal opinion, what do you think is an answer, or at least something that we can do as Americans individually, like taking responsibility individually to potentially make things not worse, but better? Because that's the thing. We have to break it down to the individual, or else what are we doing?
You have to understand that you just have to understand that everybody has an opinion. And their opinion's not wrong. It's what they believe in. Just because you have an opinion or you believe or something doesn't mean I don't have to believe in the same thing. It's their opinion, right? So, we have this, for me, a gay person, it's his choice. I want people to be happy, right? They make a choice. They didn't make a choice. I mean, I'm not going to get into that, but I just want people to be happy, right? And we all have to think of our friends and our family that are in these different political arenas, that the core, we're really good people. We just have different opinions. And it doesn't mean that we have to fight about it, right? We can agree to disagree. But then we look up at the higher powers in our country that are all showing us this fighting, and they're supposed to be leaders.
It's interesting because
they're supposed to be leading our country, and they create this horrible bashing. And we don't report the news anymore. We report what's bad. Turn it on right now. Someone's bashing somebody. Someone's bashing somebody.
Well, you said something profound in the sense of about that topic of like people choosing, let's say, what they're interested, like who they're interested in. At the end of the day, science is always outdone by new science. And at the end of the day, almost no one knows nothing. So we could argue for the rest of history on the absolute truths. And the paradox of that is, arguably maybe one of the only absolute truths is there is no absolute truth. So you said something powerful that just seemed to me correlate like to as a successful in all aspects, happy person that does good is to try to find a higher ground of agreement than just the disagreement over the things that we don't know the actual truth of. So I see Steve, someone that's living their life and building a company on finding, hey, how can we meet each other?
Yeah, how can we help each other? So, I see these people putting this stuff on social media, my friends, right? And they're going, the person, they're going, well, forget it. Trump is this horrible person. They don't realize that they're just emphasizing bad.
Yeah. Oh, like propagating even more of it.
Even more of it by putting out there and going, look what he did, look what he did, look what this senator did, look what the president did. If you were smart, take 5 people that you support and tell me how good they are and why you think they're good. And you're promoting something that's good. And then maybe we would look at that rather than you just point out the bad. We already know that.
It's funny you bring that up.
Negative. They want to be negative.
Let's look at India. Gandhi revolutionized that country without punching anybody in the face.
What did Martin Luther King do?
Same thing.
Huh? Was he picking up sticks and stones and firing them? I don't think so.
So would you?
I got to pull out my history book, but I don't think. Yeah, it's how I think.
Has that been a big part of your success in life?
No doubt about it.
Who taught you that?
Probably my mom and my aunts. Something was super cool. Going back 30 years ago, I told you that my Aunt Alice would always have a Christmas dinner. It was Christmas Eve. And my aunt owned a big company, a catering company. And there was, definitely mixed races that worked for her. Christmas Eve, we were all together. She just didn't invite my family and my other aunt's family and my cousins. all her workers and all her families were there, and all their kids were there. And it was amazing. Probably 80 people of just mixed races getting along, celebrating the holidays together. And she was a big influence of that because she did not treat her workers. They were a family, no matter what race they were. It didn't matter. We're all this freaking same.
Human.
It drives me nuts. We're humans trying to create success for our families.
Human culture matters.
Yeah, human culture matters. I don't care if you're from over here. I grew up in Chester. It's horrible. It's not good. But they still got families. I mean, they're in a system, and I don't want to go into that. We're all trying to make a better life for ourselves. And if we help each other, we hold a door for someone, we say good morning, good afternoon, good night to somebody that we don't know because they're so used to not getting it. I'll tell you, when I walk in the Wawa at 5:30 in the morning to get a coffee, it's unbelievable when I say good morning, what's up? And people are like, I don't know if they're not awake yet, but I do it all the time. Sometimes I even answer myself when someone doesn't answer me back. I'll go, hey, how you doing? And they don't say anything. I'll go, good, how are you? And I'll let them hear me. It's pretty funny, right? I mean, I'm probably going to get a Wawa pretzel thrown at me one of these times, but I'll go into Wawa, or wherever I go, I might say, hey, how you doing? Having a good day? And they won't answer me. They'll keep walking. And I'm like, I'm having a good day. Thanks for asking. But I'll say it loud enough so they hear me. So hopefully the next time they'll answer back.
I have a question for Wawa.
That's a little deep.
The double doors.
Yep.
You know when you walk in and there's those two doors, psychologically, it makes you feel like you need to open that behind you.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. You see people they're trying to hold both doors. I don't know. I got to call Bar Bennis.
Culture.
Yeah.
It's like those two doors force a person that isn't going to say hi to you back.
I think it's keeping down the heating bill, but
we got to talk. Bart is his name?
Bar Bennis. Yeah.
We're gonna. Anyone know that? We need to figure that out.
We'll ask Bar Bennis.
So the personal development industry.
She's the right hand man to Dick Wood.
And I'm going to give you that Wawa Way book. I made a commitment on camera, so
yeah, I want
keep that integrity.
I'll give you my book when I ever write one.
Which is another time that we filmed.
I put my book on Facebook like 9 months ago. I put 9 chapters on there.
Really?
Yeah, man. It went viral.
I
don't know. I want to write a book, but everybody writes a book, and the only book that gets is the people that you know, and everybody writes a book. Now they're already a guru just because they wrote a book.
Well, I want to clarify that. A person writing versus a person paying someone to write for them, two different things.
Yeah.
So yes, people have an idea that they then talk into a mic and give a ghostwriter.
You know why some of these people write books? So they can hand it out for the people in the audience that think that they actually know something.
I agree 100%.
When a lot of this shit is all just regurgitation of all the other smart books that were out there.
You know that.
Now you're a guru.
That's something.
Because you wrote a book.
That's something that a philosopher would say. Someone that probably should write their. Now I'm talking about write their book, not pay someone to write a book for them.
Yeah, that's crazy.
If you had a book that you wrote, not someone wrote it for you, what would it be called?
Belief.
Like belief or?
Belief in yourself, belief in life. You know, I'm going to take you back to when I was 29 years old. Okay? When I was 29 years old, I actually was pretty well financially just because I worked so much, and I lost it all in the stock market, right? And when I lost it all in the stock market, I cried that day. Oh, it was hurtful. It was a process of a month of Sun Microsystems going from 9 to 2, and Cisco Systems going, which I should have never even been a part of, right? Because I didn't understand it enough. I had someone else manage my money, but it was okay. So I lost all my money. But the next day I woke up, I walked like a millionaire. I had the belief that someday that I was going to be successful. Now, if we're saying success is compared to money, right? Because I don't want anyone going, oh, success isn't just about money. Well, you know, and I hate the person that says, you know, you don't need money to be happy. Well, it makes it a whole lot easier, okay? Give me a broke person, give me somebody with money. There's two different things. But for me, it's creating something, right? But I want you to understand that next day, I still walk like a millionaire. And I used to go to meetings, and I would walk into that room like a millionaire. I would walk into that room like I was the man. because I knew I was going to be there. And I'm telling you, that was a big help for me. Now, in my middle 30s, when I was struggling a little bit, the next day I would feel guilty. I would feel guilty about that kind of walk, right? It's kind of weird. When I went to the meeting, I had to act like the millionaire because we're humans. If you didn't act like you were successful, you could get chewed up, right? I mean, when I sit with someone, I can read them and I can know what level they are within a minute of them talking just by picking out a couple words. But my point is, when I lost it all, the next day I woke up, I believed that I was a successful business owner that was a millionaire. And I'm telling you, I just believe. And some people, when we were struggling, people said, the only reason we hung with you because you had so much belief in where we were going, right? That we were going to get to. I knew it was. But man, was it hard. 8 years ago, when's it going to happen for me? When's it going to happen for me? Stressful, but it's a hockey stick, right? It's that hockey stick. Up and down, up and down. Whoa, oh man, up, down. And then all of a sudden, when you got the ethics and you got the character and you help people and you take care of people, it starts to go up. And then it starts to accelerate. And momentum is the greatest thing we can have in our life. Whenever you get the you got to run with that momentum. Baby, momentum. And then you got to attack and keep going and keep pushing. And that's the other problem with entrepreneurs. They start getting a little bit of success, right? And they drop off. They think they can take a month off. They think they can go buy a real expensive car. And it takes them down into debt. And then they got to fight harder. No, when you got momentum, you got to roll with that and go as hard as you possibly can. And if you get it going right, you're done.
I think I got the book.
It just whoosh, and you got to go hard. So 2 days ago, right, we closed on a $9 million mobile home park, 300 units. I was in here at 5:30 in the morning yesterday morning. Okay, I didn't leave until 7.
Wait, you mean you didn't plan a vacation?
I actually am going on vacation next week, and I really don't want to talk to anybody. Every vacation I do, I go on and I work. I
work on vacations.
But I go when it's right? So it's Thanksgiving, so everyone's kind of lazy on Wednesday. Thursday, there's nothing going. No one wants to talk to anybody on Friday because there's stuff from Thursday. So it's a perfect week for me to go away.
Okay, I got the book.
But yeah, I travel.
Steve, you inspired me.
Yeah.
Chapter 1, lose it first. Chapter 2, believe. Chapter 3, get past the guilt. Chapter 4, earn it. Chapter 5, fulfill their obligation. Am I on the right track?
Kind of.
I'm just listening to what you're saying. Yeah, and then kinda. Somewhere along it.
Well, you asked me what the name of the book
Go on vacation on Thanksgiving.
You asked me what the name of the book was. It would be, for right off the top of my head, it would be belief. You have to believe in yourself. You have to look in the mirror and go, what am I worth? And how can I be the best at what I do? Master it. Don't be 50% of what you want to be. Be 100% of what you want to be. Like when I lend money, I think I have a massive gift. It's not from the books from high school. Whoever's watching this, whoever went to high school with me, they're going to laugh, right? Lloyd, he was like, out of 350, he was 349, right? At 320, I don't know what, I was bad, right? But all I did was learn something, the spread on money. So if I have an investor come in at a certain rate, let's say hypothetically 8%, and I can go and I can get 12%, I'm making a 4% spread on someone else's money. So what is that on $100,000 a year? It's $4,000. Now what if I could get $1 million from investors and pay them 8 and I get 12? That's $40,000. So then my mind goes, for every $1 million I raise, I can make $40,000.
Makes sense.
Create duplication.
And then, now in between that spread, there's knowledge, competency that has to be understood and then enacted upon, like fulfilled upon through your integrity. So how did you learn the business? Was a lot of, it seems like you think through things.
I definitely think through things.
Like a lot.
You got to think of the end result.
Like from 5 a.m. when you wake up to when you go to bed, you're thinking about the end result.
End result.
If
if you're getting involved in a business, it's not the beginning, it's the end, or what you're going to sell it for, or It has to be a couple years down the line. And I think that's what entrepreneurs make a big mistake of. They go, okay, I got this business idea. One, I don't think they know how they think they're going to make money, right? And you got to be able to manage money. You can have the greatest slice of pizza, but if you can't manage money, you got nothing. If you can't manage money, you got nothing. Have that greatest tire. Have that greatest car. Have that greatest slice of pizza. Open up the greatest taco stand in the world. But if you can't manage money, you're out of business. That's why 80% or 90% of entrepreneurs go out of business, because they don't know how to manage money. They think they're smart enough to have the product, the service, manage money, do the accounting, do all these hats, what they shouldn't be doing. Do what you're good at. Make a great taco or a great slice of pizza.
And then what do you do?
I don't do accounting. I don't do book work. I don't do admin. I delegate all that out. And I hire the best admin, the best book. Yeah, Jen's an amazing admin. Kerry's an amazing controller. Jeff's an amazing controller. Do the work, bring it to me, review. You know what I understand what other entrepreneurs, they don't understand accounting. I'm not saying that I understand accounting. I understand a P&L and I understand a balance sheet, right?
So the profit and loss.
And a balance sheet.
The balance sheet has all your
assets. You got to understand that.
Understand that.
You got to understand expenses and liabilities and how accounting works. It's what you're paying taxes on.
And then you have
I'm telling you, people that I deal with, they don't understand it.
None of it.
Oh, they don't understand any of it. Now, I fought it because I didn't want to, but about 5 years ago, I knew I had to learn it. I had to have a good understanding of it because I couldn't understand it. The accounting system in this country is crazy.
So you invested time in learning it.
I had to sit with them and really pay attention to what was going on, because I used to be the guy, how much profit we got left, right? But I had to unlearn. I had to understand
that mindset. What changed?
Oh, profits. You got to know. I got to know when to bring in a deal, when to sell the deal, how long to keep a deal, whether we do a 1031 exchange, or how taxes work, what I'm paying on distribution, or I'm paying on W-2 income. Entrepreneurs don't even know what distribution and W-2 income is, but you got to take W-2 income. It's a percentage of what you make. Yeah. But you pay less taxes when you take distribution versus you pay more taxes when you pay the W-2. And you have to be fair with the system. And I hear all these people, I want to pay taxes. Pay taxes. It wouldn't make our country go. Right? We heard that saying, I want to be the biggest taxpayer. Of course. Yeah. But then you wanted to talk about self-directed IRAs. Am I getting too crazy for you?
No,
you wanted to talk about self-directed IRAs earlier, right?
I did.
1%.
Transparency.
Yeah, we got to get there.
But
come on. Now I'm ready, right? This is it. So now culture, right? So now let's go back to Jennifer, too. So you better start writing this shit down.
Well, we got transparency.
We got Jen, why we hire Jen, and employees. We got to talk about self-directed IRAs.
Let's start with that.
The right employee. So self-directed IRAs. Cameraman, don't forget Jen and employees, right?
Riley has a memory of an elephant.
Why didn't you guys bring me breakfast? You guys didn't bring me nothing.
I'm moving in tomorrow.
Freaking here. So let's talk about the self-directed IRA. All these entrepreneurs want to talk to me about how they want to save taxes and how they want to beat the tax system when the government gives us the great tax break right in front of you. But entrepreneurs don't use it. It's a self-directed IRA. Now you have your Roth or your traditional. Okay. Learn it. If you have a Roth IRA, I got a Roth IRA with money in there, and it's invested at 16% interest, I'm never going to pay tax on it. Never. All the interest I make, I'll never pay tax on the money. And it's going to compound for the next 30 years. Or you say we're going to live to 90, but I don't think there's a chance in hell I'm living to 90. Not with you, not hanging out with you, because I get nuts when I'm with you. Right? But that's an amazing tax break. So what's crazy is out of all my investors, my W-2 incomers that work for companies, they had an option. Hey, take 10% of my paycheck, right? So they were forced to do it, kind of. Not forced, but they did it because they were told they needed to do it. So then I got my entrepreneur investors, right, that invest in Stone Bay. They barely have any retirement money. My entrepreneurs barely have any retirement money, and my investors that are W-2 incomers, they got a lot because they were forced. My entrepreneur income earners, right, they put all their money back in their business all the time.
Yeah.
And they go, I'm going to have a successful business. And if it doesn't work out, they don't have any retirement money because we are getting older, and it's going to happen. And you can't start when you're 60 because there will be no Social Security.
Yeah. So
it'll be very little.
Look into Roth IRAs and see how they can take that.
The general thing of traditional IRAs, Roth IRAs, getting started and putting money in there. But a Roth, a self-directed IRA, you can control where your money goes. You know, all of us, if we're not in a self-directed IRA, it's all going into the stock market. It's all going to equities, right? You don't have any control of it. I go people that have invested in mutual funds. I go, who's your fund manager? I don't know. What are you invested with? I don't know. What are your expenses? I don't know. What were your returns last year? I don't know. Are you in emerging markets? Are you domestic? I don't know. I don't know. And it's their money. It's their return, and they don't know. Put your money in a self-directed IRA, learn something to invest in, and compound your interest and get a consistent return over a long period of time. Creates wealth.
Guaranteed.
A consistent return over a long period of time creates worth, guaranteed.
Wow.
Simple.
How important is transparency?
People come to me and tell me, you got me crazy now. People come and they want 14, 16% returns. You know, 8 to 10% returns over a 20-year period, compounding, paying no taxes in your Roth IRA. It's amazing.
A lot of money.
Yes.
More than zero, which is most people.
Way more. I mean, people come to me and go, people that don't have money, they come to me and they think, the problem with people think you need a lot of money to invest. I'll give Vanguard a play. Go to Vanguard, open up an account for $500 and put $50 in there a month. And watch it grow. And then once you get a raise, put a little bit more on. Put a little bit more in. Put a little bit more in.
I think it was Einstein that said compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world.
It is, but people don't understand it. You weren't taught in high school, but you got to listen to me.
Shout out to Barry Abib who told me that, by the way.
You got to put this in your clip, part of it.
All of it. Whole thing.
I don't know about all of it. But
transparency.
Transparency. So when we started Stone Bay, that was our word, right? So my investors or people just invest and they only see the surface of the person, right? But when I bring an investor in, open book, what do you want to see? You want to see tax returns? You want to go on our bank account? The first time I said to somebody, hey, you want to go on the bank account when they were sitting here? It was actually at my house. I said, hey, let's go downstairs and go on the bank account of Stone Bay. They were like, what? I said, yeah, you're an investor. You're an investor. That makes you a partner of mine.
Wow, that's powerful.
So why don't you go on and make sure we're actually doing what we say we're doing? Let me show you the bank account to show you deposits coming in and out. Let me show you the tax returns for profit and loss. Let me show you our balance sheet to show you that we have assets. You're investing in a company, ask them to see their deck page. You know what another big problem for an entrepreneur is? Not having a deck page, not having an executive summary when you're asking for somebody for something. Yeah, will you invest in with me? Invest in what? This. No, write it down. Put it in a form. But to go back to transparency, you got to show. I can't just show you what's here on my chest. I got to show you what's going on internally. And you got to be secure enough to show and have transparency about what you're doing with someone else's money and someone that's doing business with you.
Wow.
And the investor usually doesn't look any further than the front of the chest of the person. They hear good things. No, let me show you. I have very few investors that I haven't met. I had a guy in California where he invested because another guy invested. And my wife had a seminar in Oregon, so I flew with her to Oregon, and I went and spent the day with him. I told him I would meet him someday and shake his hand, right? You know, going to Oregon, that flight, then the next day flying out at 6 o'clock in the morning for another hour and 45 minutes, and then get in a car and drive it an hour. But I wanted to shake his hand. I wanted to show someone that he was investing with, not just because someone gave him a recommendation. And Bob's completely awesome. It was one of the most amazing homes I've ever been in. He had 280 degrees views of the Pacific Ocean. It was amazing.
And you went out there to meet him.
But we need to be transparent. Just because you make mistakes in life doesn't mean you shouldn't tell people that about those mistakes. Tell them, right? I lost money on a couple deals, right? Now that guy didn't know when it happened because I paid him out of the 20 grand out of my pocket. Be transparent in your life. Tell the good, the bad, the ugly. You know what? We're so insecure because we're not willing to bring up some of the bad things, and we don't realize you got bad shit going on.
Every human.
Every human's got bad stuff going on.
Conflict.
So be human, because if an investor came in here and said, I've done 300 deals and I've never made a mistake on any of them, who's going to believe that bullshit? Tell them about the couple deals that might have went bad or the rough times, right? So they know when someone comes to invest with me, they go, what's the chances of losing my money? I'm like, a good chance. You're investing. I can't guarantee an investment. An investment is an investment. There's no guarantees in life or in investing. And they go to me, can I lose it all? I'm like, yeah, you can lose it all. I can show you a track record of transparency for the past 13 years that we've been extremely successful with our investors and what we've done. And this is how we've done it. Tell the story. You know, people get involved because people get involved with me, and I teach this all the time. People invest with me for 3 reasons. Or they want to know 3 things. They want to know who I am, they want to know what I'm investing on, and they want to know how I'm getting paid back. How they're getting paid back, right?
Who you are.
And show them the plan. Don't tell them the plan. Have your deck page, your executive summary, who you are, what you've done, who you're involved with. Tell them about your employees. Tell them how you're going to make a profit. We're in business to make a profit. Man, you get me all crazy, man.
It's culture.
It's culture.
It's your
crazy
culture.
culture.
It's our alignment. And I want to talk about how you hire and what questions you ask people that potentially would work with you and for you.
Yeah. So, you know, one thing I don't like is entrepreneurs talking bad about W-2 income earners, right? Because, you know, if I tell someone to go they should be an entrepreneur, right? That would give you, you know, they're going to work 10 hours a day. Maybe they don't want that, and it's okay.
Yeah.
Some people want to go to work and have a life and go to work from 8 to 4 and be a W-2 incomer and go home. But when you're talking about our hiring process, it's a part of a culture of being here with Stone Bay. So I'll give you an example of Jennifer, who came to us over a year ago. A great person. She's awesome. But we went through about 25 interviews before we got to her. She said a couple words. What do you think about being an admin? Do you like being an admin? She goes, no, I love being an admin. We hired her on the spot. She started that Monday.
Why?
Because she said she loved what she does. She loves being an admin. And most people don't love what they do. And the entrepreneur hires the wrong people. So I will go through 50 people, 50 different interviews until I hear that person go, I love being what I'm hiring them for.
I love janitor. I love paper cutting. I love
admin.
I love accounting.
I love being an admin. I love being a bookkeeper. I love evaluating deals. This is what I love to do. That's who I hire. So
listening to the language that shows their truth.
Yep. Because the rest is bullshit. Because they're not going to lie. You know, some of these people fib and lie, I'm a good bookkeeper, I'm this. And then you look at their resume and there's 96 jobs on there in 2 years, right?
Well, I'll tell you this, Steve. I've spent 9,000 hours in the last 6 years in studying 77 disciplines in and around human behavior and interviewed 91 people this year. And what you just said earlier before we filmed and what you just said about asking that question and waiting for that language that shows their thought process has profoundly raised my level of consciousness. Because it's profound. And that's the damn reason why we do these interviews. What's one thing that you would tell yourself 13 years ago, 3 days before you got involved in the real estate business, when it still was like, you know, smoke and mirrors in a sense, and what you thought it was going to be, what it's become today? What's something you would tell yourself then after learning everything you've learned in the last 13 years?
Today, you just never give up. It's still not over, right? I got another 30 years to go. The good, the bad, the ugly, strap up those shoelaces and come to work and show up. You have to show up in the good, the bad. Over the past 13 years, it was good, bad, ugly, depressing, tears, pacing my shore house in the middle of the night for 3 hours, not knowing what the next day was going to bring. Always be in control of yourself. Don't let other people control you. I control my own destiny. It's a good point. Don't let other people control outside influences affect what you're doing in your life or your business or being an entrepreneur. I have to be in control. I have to take responsibility, and no matter what happens in this company, it reflects back to me. If somebody makes a mistake or does something wrong, it's my fault, not theirs. Be responsible. Have integrity.
Powerful.
Thank you for this. It's awesome. This is the first of many conversations we're going to have, especially on video.
Yeah, maybe I'll wear a tie next time.
You're the man. Nah, well, yeah.
It's amazing. We can do what we focus on. We're just so, and what we have to do is, it's not about dreaming, or it's about, you are the 5 people you hang out with. The things that we hear all the time, right? How many times you hear we are the 5 people that we hang out with?
All the time.
Right? And then I ask the people, who are the 5 people you hang out with? I go, really? Really? So I have my friends and acquaintances, but in the business side, I'm really stretching to go to that guy to the next higher level, and it's not what he can do for me. It's like, what can I do for him to get in his circle? Because everyone comes to me and goes, I want to come work for you. I want to go to or they want something from me or teach them something, but they have to bring me value, right?
Yeah.
So for a young entrepreneur, if you want to hang around someone on a higher level than you, you have to bring some kind of value to that person, or they don't need to be around you.
I wore this tie today, and I forgot to tell you why. This lobster represents the fact that we actually share like a genealogy with the 350 million years of lobsters that have been around before trees.
Where do you come up with this shit? Again.
And there's a doctor that I follow. I got
another lobster the same way.
It's in respect to a guy named Jordan Peterson who's got a book that you just resonated with 1,000,000% that I'm going to gift you as well, according to the Wow Wow Way. And it's about responsibility. Mm-hmm. And I just want to say, you, sir, stand up straight with your shoulders back and show a lot of responsibility. And I'm really happy I wore this tie. And yeah, you're awesome.
You're awesome.